Yes guys, hope everyone is all good and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today we are back in at Ultraflex Derby on my own today, in for a leg session, and what I'm going to do in this video is talk you through exactly how I've grown my legs to be quite a strong body part, especially from the front within my quads, even though I'm only training them once per week. Obviously over the last couple of years I've been prioritising my upper body just due to focusing on men's physique. And through the following session structure, I think I've grown my legs to a pretty good level, at least when they're lean anyway. So the session is going to start off with 4 sets of a seated calf raise, followed by 2 sets of adductors, 2 sets of a seated leg curl, 2 sets of leg extension, 2 sets of a leg press, and 2 sets of a dumbbell RDL. So a very balanced session all round, which has worked really well for me. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I'll catch you in a bit. So first movement of the day is the seated calf raise. I've been really focusing on my calves over the last couple of years because I probably have the worst calves that you've ever seen. So what I've been doing is pretty much twice a week on legs and on my leg pull session. I've been doing 4 sets of calves. At the start of the session, first exercise in, making sure I'm prioritising it, getting the absolute most out of every single set, and also making sure that I'm pausing in both end ranges. So in the stretch, doing a 2-second pause, in the contraction, doing a 2-second pause, and doing that for years on end will hopefully get me some at least respectable calves. So yeah, that's the goal. I don't even want good calves, I just want respectable calves. Right, so next movement up is going to be the adductor. The reason why I do this now, rather than at the end of the session after my compounds, is because no one wants to train adductors at the end of the session. Once you've done your compounds, you should be battered because you should have put a lot of intensity and a lot of effort into those compounds. If you can get high quality work after your compounds on the adductor, you're probably not doing your compounds hard enough in my opinion. So yeah, 2 sets on here, 12-15 both sets. Small pause in the stretch each set, and yeah, simple as that really. Right, so third movement up is going to be the Cybex seated leg curl. I think this is probably one of the most important movements you can use for your hamstrings because no other movement is going to help you get into a fully stretched position. A seated leg curl, you're in hip flexion, so you've got a bend at the hip, and also you're in full knee extension. On a prone leg curl or lying leg curl, you're never going to get quite as much of a stretch on that. So if you are doing a prone, that's fine. Just make sure you're doing a seated leg curl somewhere in your program. Also what I do on this to make the most out of the lengthened position is an integrated partial set on the back off. So what I do is 1 full rep followed by 1 half rep, obviously through the length to mid-range, and therefore I'm spending a lot of time in that stretch position, which has been proven to be the most hypertrophic part of the range of motion. Right, so final isolation of the day is going to be the Cybex leg extension. 2 2 sets on here. You might be wondering why I do my isolation before my compounds. And I think it's really important to note that when you're trying to develop your physique, it's not just about how much load you're lifting, but also how much stimulus you're getting to the muscle. So if I do my isolations first, which are harder in that shortened position, at the top of the range of motion, I can get more out of them and also get a lot of blood around the knee, warm up my quads and hamstrings first before going into the main big compounds. And I find personally that I get a lot more stimulus from that with a lot less fatigue because I'm using less load on the compound lifts. So first compound lift of the day is going to be the Cybex pivot leg press. So for this movement at this point of the session, all I really want is a movement where I can fully flex my knee and load it in that position. So basically load the quads when they're fully stretched. So this can be any kind of leg press if you can find range of motion on it. And also it can be any kind of squat. So a hack squat, a pendulum squat, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter as long as it's loading the quad in the stretch position basically. So 2 sets here. 1 set 6 to 8 for a top set, and then also a 4 set of 10 to 12 for the back off. These are probably the 2 hardest sets for the session. So yeah, we'll get into it now. So on to the final movement of the day now. It should have been a dumbbell RDL, but stupidly I've forgotten one of my straps. So what I'm going to do instead, doesn't make complete sense, but I'm going to do a Bulgarian split squat instead, make it glute focused. Obviously not going to get any ham out of that, but it is what it is. I'll do the dumbbell RDL again next week once I've got my straps. But yeah, we'll finish off with 2 sets on here, making sure that I'm using quite a long stance, really focusing on hip flexion rather than knee flexion to target my glutes. And yeah, then we'll be done. So unfortunately, the camera ran out of charge when I was doing my first set of Bulgarian split squats, so you'll never see if I did take that set to true failure. Promise you I did, even though it is probably the most painful movement you can possibly do. But yeah, finish off with 2 sets of Bulgarian split squats there, instead of the dumbbell RDL. And that was the session done basically. So yeah, not too much else to touch on there. I have got a lot of videos coming over the next month due to Harry's shows. So we've got 3 shows lined up and those will be coming out over the next few weeks. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the video and I'll catch you on the next one.